Good morning. I'm laughing because it looks like I'm all just strapped into my baby seat here, but I'm waiting for my dad. He has an appointment, so I've got my purse on, my seatbelt on, and I'm just sitting in a parking lot. I just want to share something really cool because I've been working on this for like 19 years. And what I mean by that is for 19 years, I've been really reflecting on why it is we do the things that we do, what it all means, and how to live a healthier, happier, love filled, abundant life really is what I've always been asking, questioning, wondering. I've gone through many, many phases, and I feel like I'm just coming to this place where I'm really starting to get it. And like what I've been doing for the last however many years, this just looks like such a bunch of bullshit. But what this actually is okay, so what I've been doing is I sit down every day, I meditate for at least an hour. And almost every day I get some kind of a vision about the meaning of life and how to like I said, how to move toward a happier, healthier, love-filled, abundant life. And the interesting thing is, to me, I'll make a video about, telling people to fuck off. And I really love that part of me. I love that part of me that is coming out, that doesn't take shit from other people. I really fucking needed that part of me to come out and show up. But that's not all there is to me. And that's not all there is to my message either. Because what I'm seeing is, and I've broken it up into 8 pieces, 8 layers, 8 facets, I guess. But when we look at who we are and really start to see, there are so many different parts of our personality. Because if I were just the person that were always saying, go tell people to fuck off, and that I'm telling people to go fuck themselves, I'd be a little scared of that person because that would be a very unhealthy person. But the reason I'm so proud of myself is because I have never stood up for myself before. So me standing up for myself now is really fucking huge and very necessary and an amazing thing for a 52-year-old woman to learn how to do. But this woman has been very kind and overgiving and overforgiving all of these years. And that is why I'm proud of myself. There are a lot of people out there that need to stop telling people to fuck off and stop doing those things, right? It's all about balance. It's about balance and discernment and standing up for yourself when you need to stand up for yourself, but not being that person all over the place and spewing it all over the place, right? And so what I see, according to this chart that I've been working on, is it's all about getting into our hearts. It's all about getting into our hearts. And what I used to believe was when we're in our hearts, we're nice. When we're in our hearts, we forgive. Or when we're in our hearts, we give to others. And that is how I lived for so many years. Before I started to find myself and do this inner reflective work, I was very full of rage, anger. I had severe depression and severe anxiety almost all of my adult life. I had a lot of emotional and mental issues, a lot of problems. But what I continued to do was become nicer, give more, forgive more. And that was necessary, obviously, or it wouldn't have happened. But what I see now is being a healthy, happy, abundant, love-filled person, like I'm saying, in order to be that person, we have to be well-rounded. And when I've been working on this flow chart of the things that we do to pull ourselves back into our hearts, and the things that we do in order to live a more whole, happy life, what I'm seeing is it's about balance and discernment, like I said. That means not always being the person who forgives everybody, to be able to hold people accountable for their shitty behaviors. And that's what I have not been doing. So like I said, I was spending time with this person for a year, and he would always be shitty in some way, and I would tell him off, and I would get angry. I would never be mean. I would never swear. I would just say, we're done. Like, we are done. And I would mean it. And then I would get into this place where I believed I had to forgive him and love his inner child and see his part in his trauma and help him. And so I'd always go back and apologize. And then he would come back and he would want to get back together, and we would get back together and have, like, we got along a lot, but there would always be the shitty behavior that would show up. And it was the same cycle for a year. And I'm not saying that, I'm not even saying that I did anything wrong, but what I'm saying is I've learned from it. I hope he does too, but I don't think so, because he fucking literally left me on the riverbank on my bike by myself, in the very fucking scary, crime-ridden part of town, knowing that I was afraid of my legs giving out because of the chemo that I had years ago, knowing that I was afraid that my bike was going to fall apart because it had a couple years ago, knowing that I had a lot of fear of being in that area of town, especially by myself. And also, the interesting part of this is the last conversation I had with him before we went on the bike ride is the night that I had such a meltdown about missing my mom. And when I was on the phone with him, I was crying so hard that I was having a hard time catching my breath. So that was the last conversation I had with this fucker. And then the next morning is when he chose to be so incredibly mean to me. So anyway, it's all hindsight, right? I learn when I get when I get to the other side of the fuckery, I see it very clearly. But when you're in it, you're trying to figure it out. Like, it's like when we're triggered by our trauma, it's like, it feels like we're thrown into a washing machine, and we don't know what's up. We don't know what's down. We don't know. And so we're trying to, like, we're struggling and we're trying to catch our breath and we're trying to see things clearly, but we're always going under the water. And that is really how it feels anytime our trauma's triggered. Like I said, it feels like chaos. We respond in a certain way. We might overreact, and then we see it a little bit more clearly. And then, like I said, my pattern was to make his feelings more important than my own. And that is a lifelong pattern that I had. And that is why it is so good and so important for me to be the person that can now spot bad behavior. And when somebody's rude enough, to tell them to go fuck themselves, but to keep fucking walking away and not turn back and block them. And that's what I've done this time. But like I said, that may not be a balance for everybody. People may be doing that already. So your balance would be to be more forgiving and loving. Like, do you know what I'm saying? So I had to be able to balance the forgiveness with accountability. They're not going to take accountability, but we have to see that they're accountable.